Hey guys, today I'm thrilled to be with Alex Nish, who's a life coach. How are you today, Alex?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. We're communicating across the world. This happens to me a lot, but I'm 1 p.m. for me, 5 a.m. for Alex. So really appreciate you jumping on this call so early,
You're welcome.
and I hope that you'll have a really good start to your day. I know I would love to wake up at 5 a.m. That's something I'm working on myself. Okay. Um, the topic today that we're going to be talking about is finding balance in life. Um, and this is definitely a topic that I think about all the time. And I think it's so much more complicated. I think it's not as simple as people make it. I have a lot of thoughts on the matter. But first, I want to hear from you. What does balance mean to you?
Um, Balance to me means that you're living a life of well-being, living a rounded life. So you're looking at your life holistically. So each area of your life, whether that's health, business, finances, relationships, spiritual and personal development, fun, every aspect of your life and bringing those into alignment.
Hmm. Does that mean like kind of making sure they're all in sync, or does it mean like you kind of differentiate everything and kind of divide everything? Like, okay, is balance um, let's say, is balance having your career and your fun and your social life integrated, or is it more like your job ends at 5 and then you have plenty of time for free time and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it is looking at each area of your life and how you can give more to that area. So often when people are so career focused, they will forget about having fun, or they'll let their relationships slide a little bit. So it really is about looking at each area of your life and how you can bring harmony into that area. And so even if you looked at it as a wheel, like the wheel of life, and segment each area, um, and often when we do that, we will find that we're lacking in certain areas and need to bring those back
Right.
up to alignment.
Right, and I think that's so valuable. I know I have my own exercise where I have my own little wheel, and every morning I kind of go through each of my areas and see like how I'm doing in each area and like what my goals are in each area. But
Mm,
I also find it really hard um, to balance. Like, people, if you read articles and you hear people talking about work-life balance, it makes it seem like it's just two things. It's like, okay, you work and then there's work and then there's fun. But really,
yeah.
within your free time, there's like 8 things to balance within that. There's like your
Mhm.
relationships, fun, your fitness, your health, like all the fine, like all the stuff that goes outside of work. And it's like balancing within your personal life. There's a whole bunch of activities to balance. And I often struggle with figuring out, like, it can be hard to
Yeah.
even balance my personal life within, like, beyond just work life balance.
Mm.
What advice do you give to people who are struggling with balance?
I think the key thing is to have a routine, and to set yourself time and prioritize different things. And even if that means creating a date night with your partner, so you can sit down and actually have a conversation, and whether that's away from the kids or whatever it is. So just creating um, actual times to be able to focus on those areas.
Hmm.
So it might mean that you will have to get up a little bit earlier in the morning to focus on your goals or whatever it is that you're setting out for the day. So just being mindful of that. Or it might be that you need to watch half an hour less of TV
Hmm.
and create time and space, working on something instead of watching TV. people who say that they don't have enough time, I guarantee you they're still watching an hour or 2 hours of TV a day, and that's too much.
Okay.
We don't need that.
Gotcha. Let's see, like from you, how does your like walk us through your daily routine?
So I get up in the morning and I have a routine where I'll do a series of stretches straight away and a short breathing exercise. I have my lemon water. Um, I do some self hypnosis, which is like affirmations to help get motivated for the day. Um, so I really focus on that time, and then I'll have my shower and then breakfast, start checking my emails, get into work.
So the whole sequence before work takes an hour, half an hour to an hour.
Yes.
Okay, because for me, I've timed mine as well, my morning routine, and I've actually noticed that it takes me 2.5 hours to do
Wow.
everything comfortably and not rush. To
Hmm.
for me, going to the gym, um, doing a full workout, then kind of getting ready, and also commuting to my the co-working space that I want to work at. Um,
Right.
tends to take me 2.5 hours. Uh, and yeah, and then I'll get into work. When do you start working, and then when do you stop working?
Yeah, so for me, I guess it's a little bit different because I do work from home, so I can set my hours.
Hmm.
So I do try and be ready by 9 a.m. every morning to get into it. And I would love to say that I finish at 5, but I certainly don't. I do have regular breaks throughout the day, so I will find that some nights I am still working on the computer at 8 o'clock.
Hmm.
Um, so I know that my lifestyle is a little bit different, but for other people that I've spoken to and clients that I work with, and if they're doing the 9 to 5, then yeah, it's certainly not easy to give yourself that time, whether it is that 2 hours in the morning, especially if you've got family and you have to travel a distance to go to work. Um, so, and I realize that's why they call it the daily grind, don't you? Because you work so hard
Hmm.
and come home and then there's no time really for the family. So how do you fit everything in?
Right, exactly. That's a big question.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know that happens to me too. Like I'll work late at night, and sometimes I just want to, and it's fun. But other times, like I feel like I don't want to be working right now, and I'm just like too overwhelmed because running your own business is overwhelming, or it
Yeah.
could be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be. Um, and I'm trying to push myself to like stop at 5. Do you have any thoughts about that? Like having a hard deadline for yourself to just, all right, no more after this, especially for people who are like also running their own business.
Yes, I do believe in the routine, and it's really important to have a nighttime routine as well. So for me, I'm in bed at 9:30 every night. And I do a series of stretches before I go to bed, and I might do a short meditation as well. So I have my routine just so I know that I'm doing the same thing every night and every morning, and that really helps my mindset. It really helps to get clear on the next day. I'll also write out a to-do list before I go to bed so I know what I'm doing the next day. And I find that's really important as well.
Nice. Yeah. Like knowing what you're doing, so you don't have to spend the energy the next day like thinking about all these tasks.
Yeah.
Um, so what time do you wake up? I know I'm asking you a bunch of weird questions, but
Yeah, so usually around 6:37. It
okay.
varies. Yeah.
So you're in bed by 9:30. I guess you fall asleep by what time?
Um,
Ideally.
that depends as well. So I'm not a very good sleeper. So I might still be awake at midnight some nights.
Okay.
Um, so it
So
just depends.
okay, I got you. But by being in bed at 9:30, you're giving yourself like some flexibility about even if you mess up and you're in bed by 12, you're still fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like that. I like that you have like a nightly routine and like you're in bed by 9:30, and then that's like giving yourself plenty of time to like leave room for error. Um,
Yeah.
so how about this, family slash social life slash fun, like those hours between, because you got your health, you got your like exercise out of the way in the morning, but
Yeah.
like family, social life, fun, how do those all three balance together?
Well, for me personally, my family is in a different city, and I live on my own. So I really have to remind myself sometimes to be social and to get out of the house.
Hmm.
And it is just reminding myself how important and value that is for my life, to catch up with friends and to communicate and connect.
Hmm.
Especially when you're working on your own all the time. And I do see clients, but that's not the same as being social.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah. And, this world of Facebook we have as well, it's not, it really has reduced our communication skills.
Right.
So it's really important to get out there and connect with your friends, and whether that's just catching up for a coffee or a walk on the beach or whatever it is, I make sure that I do that every week as well.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So, so I guess like for you, the optimal, I guess range of doing that would be like once a week, maybe a couple times a week.
Yeah, yeah,
So sometimes I struggle with personally is I'm living in New York City, and like I'm surrounded by all this entertainment nonstop, um, and just everything going on. And so like I'll and I want to take advantage of it. Like I want to go out like a lot. Like I'm not saying that I want to like go hang out at like I don't go to bars, or like I'm not saying like I'm going to a club or something and like I don't want to stay there till 2, but just like going to a movie, or like going
yeah.
to meet a friend at like some dinner place. Like that's
Mm,
something that for me isn't, I want to do that like as often as I can.
yeah,
And just like all the events and like comedy shows and everything that's going on. Um, and sometimes what I've noticed is that I will go to a comedy show, and then it'll end at 10:30, and then my whole next day is messed up because
yeah,
because I went to a comedy show and I didn't get back till 11:30, and then it messes up the whole rest of the week even.
yeah.
What do you have to say about that? Like, how do you balance, okay, I want to go to the comedy show, but also I don't want to sacrifice my morning routine?
Well, that's a really tricky one. I think it's still important to go and have that fun.
Hmm.
So don't stop yourself from doing it. You
Yeah.
know, so you might need a little bit more caffeine the next morning, but
Maybe take a nap like later in the day or something.
yeah, yeah. I think, we live such busy, chaotic lives, and it is really important to factor in those fun times as well. So, and often we feel guilty if we go out and do something fun because we think, oh, I've got so much to do in my business, or I need to give to my family. But it is really important to have the fun and recreation in our lives.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I think it's one of the most important things, and it's just like you just need to take care of yourself. You know what I've noticed is
Yeah.
give myself time to relax and unwind, I'll actually, and I'm working all night. I'll actually oversleep the next day because my body is
Yeah.
telling me that I need to like take a break. So it just shows up in my sleep, and then guess what? I sleep till 10, and then uh, uh, that 3 hours that I spent at night working was just spent sleeping. So I'm not really like saving time by working at night. I'm just it all balances itself out. So actually, it's more productive for me to give myself time to relax.
Yeah.
Something that I've noticed. Can you share like some examples of stories where your clients have gone from feeling out of balance and then finding some more balance in their life?
Yeah, sure. So, um, I have one client who's a business owner as well. She's got a thriving business, and so she's got a lot of staff to deal with as well. And she came to me feeling quite chaotic, and wanting to make changes and make the space in her life for her own self-care, and didn't know how to implement that. So we developed a plan, and it was really about getting clear on the kind of routine she wanted to set for herself, and being consistent with that every morning, and every night. And she slowly, as she became more used to it and it was becoming more consistent, then she was finding she was able to set a good routine with meditation in the morning, and set up for the day, and get in some exercise. And at lunch, she was able to go back home and do some cooking and focus on nutrition, and then go back to work. So there were ways that we found for her to create space for what she needed to do.
Nice.
And yeah, she's, started thriving, and then working on her business goals as well, making changes in the business. Like everything just fell into place. So
yeah,
really good. Yeah.
great to hear. I like the way you framed it. Like you're helping her create space, like find space in her life to do all these different things. And I think that's
Yeah.
it's such a personalized. You need someone to help you figure out how to do that. And it's just like everyone's different, and so the same.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, everyone's different, everyone's unique, everyone does things differently, and not one mold is going to fit for every person. So it is about getting to know yourself and your values and what drives your behavior and how you work with things, and then creating the routine, creating a space to help with that.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's say someone wants to improve their balance in life, and they want to work with you. How can they learn more?
Sure. So I run a Facebook group called Better Balance, Better Life. So they are welcome to join the group, and in the group I give daily value, a lot of tips and tricks on how to be more balanced and how to do self-care, and how to know yourself, and connect with yourself more. My business name is Natural Progressions Coaching, so you can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn as well. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, well, I'll definitely include a link there, and I encourage people to get in touch if it sounds like a good fit. I really appreciate you taking the time to jump on this call so early, and
Yeah, me too. Thanks for having me.
no problem.